What if I told you the future of the Ukraine war might already be decided and Ukraine isn't even in the room? Right now, in secret meetings behind closed doors, the US and Russia, two of the world's biggest rivals, are negotiating how this war will end.
Possible talks to mediate an end to Russia's war against Ukraine are moving quickly, with Russian and US officials meeting in Saudi Arabia today.
No big announcements, no cameras, no Ukraine. But what exactly are they discussing? And if a deal is made without Ukraine's approval, will they even follow it? Or will this lead to even more chaos? This wasn't just any meeting. It was a high-stakes, closed-door negotiation held in Saudi Arabia. On one side, US officials, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, and Special Envoy to the Middle East Steve Witkoff. On the other, top Russian diplomats led by Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, one of the Putin's most trusted figures. And in the middle, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, positioning himself as a global power broker. But why Saudi Arabia? Because they are one of the few countries that have strong ties with both the US and Russia. They sell weapons to Washington, but also buy oil from Moscow. And now they want to prove they can negotiate to the world stage. Officially, this meeting was about ending the war in Ukraine, but behind the scenes, it's about something much bigger. Russia wants Western sanctions lifted. The US wants to stop the war from draining resources and shifting global power. And Saudi Arabia, they want to control energy prices and expand their influence. This means Ukraine might not even be the main focus of these negotiations. Instead, it's about reshaping global power, controlling resources, and making deals that could last for decades. This meeting took place on February 18, 2025 in Riyadh. No press conferences, no official statements, just backroom diplomacy that could change the course of the war. So why is this happening now? Because the US and Russia want to shape the end of this war on their own terms. Ukraine has its own demands, but to the big players, they are just obstacles. Russia wants to freeze the war and keep the land they have taken. The US wants to stop this war from turning into an endless conflict. And Europe, they are too divided to act fast. Some leaders want to keep supporting Ukraine while others just want the war to end. But what about Ukraine? Are they okay with this? Absolutely not. Ukrainian officials have called these talks a betrayal and insist that no deal should be made without them. President Zelensky has warned that any peace agreement that ignores Ukraine's conditions will be rejected, and Ukraine's military is still pushing for more Western weapons, showing they are not ready to negotiate under pressure. So if a peace deal is made without Ukraine's approval, will they even accept it, or will this just lead to more chaos? This could go two ways. Scenario 1. The war ends. If the US and Russia agree on a deal, Ukraine might be forced to accept it. Europe might pressure them to stop fighting, and global tensions could start to cool down. Scenario 2. More chaos. If Ukraine refuses the deal, the war would continue with more weapons, more destruction, and more global instability. Some experts fear this could create a frozen conflict, like in Korea, where fighting stops but tension never goes away. And what if this isn't just about Ukraine? What if this is the start of a new world order, where the biggest powers negotiate behind closed doors, while smaller nations are left with no say in their own future? This is happening right now, and it could change everything. Do you think Ukraine will accept the deal made without them? Or is this just the beginning of a much bigger global shift? Let us know in the comments.